On November 14th, 2011, a 12-year-old girl stepped into an elevator on the fourth floor of her grandfather's building. 47 seconds later, the doors opened on the 14th floor. The elevator was empty. She was gone. In the next 15 minutes, you'll see the security footage that baffled investigators, a girl who vanished from a sealed metal box between floors. You'll understand how the impossible became possible. And you'll witness what happened when the truth finally surfaced 7 years later from the lips of a sleeping man. This is the story of Lily Chen Hargrove, a girl who counted her steps, who pressed elevator buttons with her knuckle, who wore her grandmother's jade pendant every single day. A girl who was 47 steps from home when she disappeared. This is her story, and it begins on an ordinary Monday morning. The marimba tone cuts through darkness at 6:15 a.m. Lily Chen Hargrove's hand finds the phone before her eyes open. She silences it, then lies still for 3 heartbeats, a ritual so ingrained she doesn't remember learning it. Her fingers travel to her collarbone, find the cord, slide the jade pendant left, right, left, still there. Grandmother's Buddha, worn smooth by decades of touching, hers now for 2 years, still there. The day can begin. November 14th, 2011. Monday, Charlotte, North Carolina. The gray light seeping through Lily's curtains carries that particular November quality. Not quite cold, not quite warm, the sky unable to commit to anything. She is 12 years old. She has 47 steps between her bedroom door and the elevator. She has counted them 112 times. She will count them once more today, and that will be the last time. But she doesn't know this yet. Nobody knows anything yet. Lily swings her legs out of bed and reaches for the journal on her nightstand. Not her school journal, the other one, the secret one. The one with the soft leather cover where she copies sentences that make something twist in her chest. She's been doing this since she was 10, collecting beautiful words the way other girls collect stickers or lip gloss. Last night she added a line from The Giver. The worst part of holding the memories is not the pain, it's the loneliness of it. She didn't fully understand it, but she felt it somewhere behind her ribs, and that was enough. This morning she writes only the date. Her hand hovers. She thinks about adding something. There's a strange flutter in her stomach, a sense of something she can't name. But then her mother's voice rises from downstairs, singing off-key in Mandarin, and the feeling dissolves. Lily closes the journal, touches the pendant again, gets up. Before we step into Lily's last normal day, take a second to subscribe. This channel tells the stories of lives that mattered and the families who never stopped searching. Your support helps us keep their memory alive. Somewhere in this same building, on a floor Lily has never visited, a man named James Earl Boykin is also waking up. He has worked here for 8 months. He has watched Lily walk through the lobby 23 times. She has never noticed him. She will never know his name, but he knows hers. The shower runs for exactly 8 minutes. Lily times herself, always has, ever since she read that the average American shower wastes 20 gallons of water. 8 minutes. Efficient, enough. She dresses in the bathroom, navy pleated skirt, white polo shirt with the Charlotte Country Day crest, navy cardigan with the top button missing. She's been meaning to ask her mother to fix it. She keeps forgetting. She'll forget again today. The button will still be missing when they find the cardigan. Her hair goes into a low ponytail, secured with the navy elastic band she's worn for 2 years. Her lucky one. She checks the jade pendant in the mirror, slides it left, right, left. Examines the small Buddha figure, the cord fraying slightly where it meets the clasp. Her grandmother's hands held this. Her mother has one just like it, 3 generations of women touching the same smooth jade. In the kitchen, the Hargrove family assembles like they do every weekday morning. Oliver, 7 years old, is already at the table, spooning cereal into his mouth while reading the back of the box for the 100th time. David Hargrove stands at the counter, coffee cup in hand, checking his watch before checking his phone, an old habit from his father's pocket watch days. Malin Hargrove moves between stove and counter, humming something from her childhood, slightly off-key, the way she always does. Lily takes her seat, the chair closest to the window. "Always morning, Lilybug," her father says. "Dad." Lily rolls her eyes, but she's smiling. "I'm too old for that. You'll always be Lilybug to me, even when you're running MIT. Malin sets a plate in front of Lily. Eggs, toast, sliced oranges arranged in a fan. She pauses, reaches down, tucks a strand of Lily's hair behind her ear, the strand that's always escaping, the one that doesn't need tucking but gets tucked anyway. Lily tolerates this. She even leans into it just slightly, though she'd never admit it. Your father's driving you today, Maylin says. I have early rounds. I know, Mom. Call me when you get home. I always do. This is true. Lily has called her mother every day at 4:15 p.m. for 2 years, the ritual of checking in, the thread that connects school Lily to home Lily. Today, she will not call. Today, the phone will stay silent and Maylin will stand in this same kitchen, watching the clock tick past 4:15, 4:24:30, and she will know, the way mothers know, that something is wrong. But right now it is 6:52 a.m. Right now, Lily is stealing a slice of orange from Oliver's plate, and Oliver is protesting, and David is laughing, and Maylin is pretending to scold them while hiding her smile behind her coffee cup. Right now, everything is exactly as it should be. At 7:15, Lily grabs her purple backpack, the one with the robot keychain from the arcade, the one containing her homework folder, her violin music, her pencil case with the mini screwdriver set she carries just in case. She checks the front pocket, phone, $3.17, library book. She shoulders the bag, feels the straps dig in slightly. They've been slipping all semester. She should tighten them. She doesn't. David waits by the door, keys in hand. As Lily passes, he squeezes her shoulder twice. Their signal, I'm proud of you. She doesn't know what he's proud of today, maybe nothing specific, maybe everything, but she feels it warm in her chest. The car ride is 15 minutes of NPR and comfortable silence. Lily asks about a news story, something about budget negotiations, and David explains it as best he can. She watches Charlotte slide past the window, office buildings, old churches, the skyline her grandfather helped build. Hargrove Tower stands among them, 22 stories of her family's legacy. She's lived there her whole life. She knows every corner, every elevator's particular hum, every resident's face. She feels safe there. She shouldn't. At Charlotte Country Day, David pulls into the drop-off lane. Lily unbuckles, reaches for the door. Hey, David catches her arm, fist bump. She turns back, smiling despite herself. Their handshake, fist bump. Explosion, fingers wiggling like rain, catching the raindrops in cupped hands. Silly, childish, she loves it, she'll never do it again. Have a good day, Chief Engineering Officer, David says. You too, Director of Dad Jokes. She climbs out, the door closes. David watches her walk toward the building, purple backpack, navy cardigan, ponytail swinging with each step. She doesn't look back. He almost calls out to her. Almost says I love you one more time. But she's already through the doors and there will be other mornings. Except there won't be. At 7:18 a.m., James Earl Boykin clocks in for his shift at Hargrove Tower. He checks the schedule, notes the date, checks the elevator maintenance log. Today he will stay past his shift. Today he will access a mechanical room he has been preparing for weeks. Today everything he has been planning will finally happen. The school day unfolds in fluorescent light and locker slams. Third period, history. Fourth period, English, where Lily underlines a sentence in The Giver and adds it to her mental collection. Fifth period, chemistry, a test she's been dreading. Sixth period, lunch with the robotics club, where they argue about their maze-solving robot. It keeps turning left when it should turn right, and Lily thinks she knows why, something about the sensor calibration. She'll fix it on Wednesday. At 3:30, the final bell rings. Lily gathers her things, waves to her friend Emma, heads for the carpool lane where Mrs. Thompson's silver Honda Odyssey waits. She climbs into the back row with Emma and Marcus. They talk about nothing, homework, weekend plans, whether robots could have feelings. Lily argues yes. Feelings are just electrical signals, she says. Robots have those. Marcus disagrees. Emma stays neutral. The conversation continues until Mrs. Thompson pulls into the circular drive of Hargrove Tower. It is 4:41 p.m. Lily thanks Mrs. Thompson, always formal, always polite, and steps out into the November gray. The air is cold, 52 degrees, wind picking up from the west. The lobby doors glow warm against the gloom. She walks toward them. Her hand rises to her collarbone, finds the cord, slides the pendant left, right, left, still there. She pushes through the heavy glass doors. The lobby embraces her, brass fixtures, marble floors. Soft jazz from the speakers, the smell of brass polish and stargazer lilies from the center arrangement. Gerald Whitmore looks up from his crossword puzzle at the concierge desk. Smiles. Afternoon, Miss Lily, how was robotics? Good. She shifts her backpack straps higher. They've been slipping all day. We're building a maze solver. It keeps turning left when it should turn right. Gerald chuckles, sounds like my ex-wife. Lily smiles politely, not quite understanding the joke. Have a good evening, Mr. Whitmore. She turns toward the elevator bank. The indicator above the center elevator glows amber, counting down 9, 8, 7. A woman stands waiting. Mrs. Vance from 4C, dry cleaning draped over her arm. She notices Lily and smiles. Hello, dear 14. Yes, ma'am. I'm only going to 4. You'll have to press your own button. That's okay, thank you. Lily waits. Twists her ponytail around her left index finger. 1 rotation, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then releases it with a small shake of her head. Touches her pendant through her shirt. Hums something under her breath. Gerald, still at his desk, catches the tune. First 4 notes of Fur Elise. Lily's warm-up piece. He's heard her play it through the walls of 14A, drifting down the elevator shaft. The elevator chimes. The brass doors slide open. The car is empty. Mrs. Vance enters first, presses 4. Lily follows. Her knuckle, not her fingertip, never her fingertip, germs live on elevator buttons, presses 14. The button glows. The doors begin to close. Beyond them, the lobby continues. Gerald returning to his crossword, the jazz shifting to something slower, the November light fading toward an early dusk. Normal sounds. Monday sounds. The sounds of November 14th, 2011, which is about to become the last normal day of many lives, though no one knows this yet. The doors close. The elevator begins to rise. The elevator rises. Mrs. Vance shifts her dry cleaning to the other arm. Supposed to rain tomorrow, she says. I hope it doesn't. Lily stands near the back of the car, left hand drifting toward her neckline. I hate carrying an umbrella. 19 seconds of small talk, the hum of the motor. The soft jazz from the lobby speakers fading as they climb. Mrs. Vance notices the girl's hand near her collar, fidgeting with something beneath the fabric. A necklace, probably. Mrs. Vance's grandson has similar nervous habits. She thinks about mentioning this, thinks about asking what grade Lily is in now, whether she still plays violin, how her mother is doing. The elevator slows, floor 4, the doors slide open. Mrs. Vance steps out, dry cleaning rustling against the doorframe. She turns back to say goodbye or have a nice evening or something she'll never quite remember, but the doors are already closing. Through the narrowing gap, she catches one last image. A small girl in a navy cardigan, ponytail slightly askew, left hand rising toward her throat where something jade green glints against white cotton. The doors close. Mrs. Vance stands in the hallway for a moment, keys in hand, feeling something she can't name. A chill, maybe, the building settling, nothing. She walks to her apartment, unlocks the door, goes inside, and the elevator continues upward. Alone. What happens in the next 47 seconds will be reviewed by investigators over 300 times. It will be analyzed by FBI behavioral specialists. It will be played on news broadcasts across the country. And it will never show what actually happened, only what didn't. The security camera in the elevator car captures this. 4:45, 18 p.m., doors close on the 4th floor. Lily Chen Hargrove stands alone near the back of the car, her hand at her throat, her backpack shifting slightly as the elevator accelerates. The floor indicator climbs. 5, 6. At floor 6, something changes. The footage shows nothing, no lurch, no stop, no visible disturbance. But forensic analysis will later reveal a 0. 3-second fluctuation in the elevator's speed. A hesitation so brief that no passenger would notice. A moment when the car passed through an interstitial space between floors 6 and 7, where a maintenance door connects the shaft to a mechanical room, a door that should have been locked, a door whose alarm had been disabled 3 days earlier. The camera continues recording, but now it records only an empty car. The purple backpack is gone, the girl is gone. The jade pendant catching light from the overhead fixture is gone. The elevator doesn't know it's empty. Elevators don't know anything. It simply rises following its programming, carrying nothing toward the 14th floor. The doors open. The hallway camera captures this, brass doors sliding apart, fluorescent light spilling out, and inside the car, nothing. Empty, no Lily, no backpack, no evidence that anyone had been inside at all. The doors remain open for 6 seconds. Standard timing. Then they close and the elevator sits idle, waiting for the next call, indifferent to the impossibility it has just delivered. 47 seconds. That's how long it took for Lily Chen Hargrove to vanish from a sealed metal box traveling between floors. 47 seconds, the same number as the steps between her bedroom door and this elevator. A coincidence that will haunt her mother for years. 21 minutes later, Lily Chen Hargrove stands at the kitchen counter of apartment 14A. The clock reads 5:07 p.m. She got home early today, left the hospital before her shift ended because Lily had texted that morning about needing help with a women's question. Bra shopping. Lily had been mortified to type it. Malin had smiled at her phone in the hospital corridor, remembering her own mother, remembering being 12, remembering how enormous these small things once felt. Now she stands in the kitchen and the apartment is empty. This is not unusual. Lily sometimes stops at Mimi's apartment on the 6th floor. Mimi makes chin-chin and tells stories about Lagos, and Lily loves both the cookies and the old woman's elegant voice. Malin isn't worried. Not yet. She calls Lily's phone, straight to voicemail. Not unusual either. Lily often forgets to turn it back on after school. 5:12 p.m. Malin's hand rises to her throat. Her fingers find the jade pendant there, her mother's pendant, twin to the one Lily wears. She slides it along the cord, left, right, left. A gesture she doesn't notice herself making anymore. A gesture her daughter makes too, though neither of them has ever mentioned this mirroring. She calls Grace Yamamoto's mother. Grace is home, has been since 4:00. No, she hasn't heard from Lily. Wasn't she supposed to be home by now? 5:15 p.m. Malin calls Mrs. Thompson. Yes, she dropped Lily at the building at 4:42, watched her walk toward the doors. She seemed fine, normal, Monday tired. 5:18 p.m. Malin calls the concierge desk. Gerald Whitmore answers on the second ring. Mrs. Hargrove, yes, I saw Lily. She came in around 4:43. We chatted for a moment. She told me about her robotics project. Then she got on the elevator with Mrs. Vance from 4C. She got on the elevator. Yes, ma'am, sent her car and she went up. I assume so. I went back to my crossword. Is everything all right? 5:19 p.m. Malin knocks on apartment 4C. Mrs. Patricia Vance opens the door, still in her cardigan, reading glasses pushed up on her forehead. Mrs. Vance, my daughter Lily, Gerald said she got on the elevator with you. Yes, about half an hour. Sweet girl, we rode up together. Where did you get off? Here, 4th floor. She was going to 14, I think. Mrs. Vance frowns. She was right behind me when I stepped out. I turned to say goodbye, but the doors were already. She's not home. The words hang in the air between them. Mrs. Vance's frown deepens. That's strange. She was definitely in the elevator when I got off. I saw her. But you didn't see her get off. No, the doors closed. I assumed she rode up. Malin stands in the 4th floor hallway. Her hands have begun to shake. She doesn't notice this yet, won't notice it until later when she tries to dial her phone and can't make her fingers work. Right now, she's still in the narrow corridor between not knowing and knowing, the place where the mind refuses what the body already understands. She got on the elevator. She didn't get off at 4. She's not at 14. The elevator travels between those floors in 47 seconds. 47 seconds. Her daughter was alive 47 seconds ago. No, not 47 seconds, 35 minutes, but the math doesn't matter, the time doesn't matter. What matters is the space between floors 4 and 14. What matters is the sealed metal box her daughter entered and never exited. What matters is 5:21 p.m. Malin calls David. Her voice is cracking, splintering. A sound she doesn't recognize as her own. Lily's not here. No one knows where she is. She got in the elevator and she's not here. David Hargrove arrives at 5:34 p.m. He has broken 7 traffic laws. He has called Malin 4 times during the 13-minute drive. Each time, her voice sounded less like his wife and more like something wounded. He finds her in the lobby with Gerald Whitmore, both of them staring at a security monitor behind the concierge desk. Gerald is rewinding footage, playing it, rewinding, playing. Show me, David says. Gerald plays the footage. David watches his daughter enter the lobby, watches her talk to Gerald, watches her approach the elevator, twist her ponytail around her finger, touch something at her throat, watches her step into the car with Mrs. Vance, watches the doors close. Now the 14th floor, he says. Show me. Gerald switches cameras, the hallway outside 14A. Timestamp 4:46:05 p.m. The elevator doors open, the car is empty. David watches it again and again and again. His mind keeps expecting the footage to change, keeps expecting to see Lily step out, backpack bouncing, ponytail swinging, walking toward home. But the footage doesn't change. The elevator arrives empty every time. "That's impossible," he says. Gerald says nothing. "That's impossible. She was in there. You saw her. Mrs. Vance saw her. She was in there." "I know, Mr. Hargrove. Then where is she?" The question echoes off the marble floors, the brass fixtures, the stargazer lilies in their crystal vase. Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? By 5:52 p.m. the building search has begun. David tears through maintenance closets with his bare hands. He knows this building, his father built it, he manages it. He could walk its corridors blindfolded. But now every door is a question, every shadow is a possibility, every corner might hold his daughter or the answer to where she's gone. Ray Mullins, the superintendent, follows behind him with a master key. Laundry room, fitness center, storage units on B1 and B2. The rooftop locked and undisturbed, pigeons startling at their arrival. Nothing. At 6:15 p.m., Maylin calls 911. At 6:23 p.m., Officer Angela Reyes arrives. She takes statements, notes the unusual circumstances of the security footage, requests a detective. At 6:47 p.m., Detective Marcus Cole walks into the lobby of Hargrove Tower. He is 54 years old. 22 years with Charlotte Mecklenburg PD, the last 11 in crimes against children. He has worked 340 cases. He has seen everything. He has never seen this. He watches the footage once, twice, 3 times. Then he says to no one in particular, the magic trick has a trapdoor. Find the trapdoor. The trapdoor would be found within 90 minutes, and what investigators discovered behind it would turn a missing persons case into something much darker. 7:30 p.m. Detective Cole stands inside the center elevator car, now stopped between floors, surrounded by a forensic team in blue gloves. Above him, a service hatch in the ceiling, standard in all elevators, 2 feet by 2 feet, accessible by standing on the brass handrail. Cole has already climbed up, already seen the top of the car, already looked into the dim shaft stretching above and below. The hatch shows recent use, a technician reports. Dust disturbance, fresh scratches on the latch. Cole nods, climbs down, thinks, a 12-year-old girl, 47 seconds. A ceiling hatch she could have reached if she stood on the handrail. But she wouldn't have done that voluntarily, not between floors, not alone. Someone opened that hatch from above. 8:15 p.m. The search moves to the elevator shaft itself. Between floors 6 and 7, there is an interstitial space, a mechanical room accessible via a door from the 6th floor hallway. Standard building infrastructure. What is not standard? A secondary access point from inside the shaft. A maintenance door, a door that should be locked and alarmed. The door is unlocked. The alarm has been disabled. Wire cut cleanly. Tool marks on the housing. Cole stands in the mechanical room, flashlight sweeping across pipes and junction boxes. He sees scuff marks on the floor, a disturbed layer of dust near the shaft access, and in the corner, beneath a ventilation grate, a purple backpack. A Samsung flip phone, contents intact, homework folder, violin music. Pencil case with a mini screwdriver set, everything accounted for except one thing. The jade pendant is gone. 8:43 p.m. Maylin sits in the lobby, surrounded by police officers she doesn't see and questions she can't answer. David paces. Oliver is upstairs with a neighbor, not understanding why he can't go home, why mommy was crying, why Lily isn't back yet. Detective Cole approaches. His face is professionally neutral, but his eyes, Maylin will remember his eyes for years, carry something worse than bad news. They carry certainty. "Mrs. Hargrove, we found your daughter's backpack and phone in a mechanical room on the 6th floor." Maylin's hand goes to her jade pendant. Someone accessed the elevator shaft through a maintenance door. The door was unlocked. The alarm was disabled. We believe your daughter was removed from the elevator car through a ceiling hatch as it passed the 6th floor. The words reach Maylin from very far away. Removed, ceiling hatch, 6th floor. Her belongings were left behind, but there's one item we haven't recovered. Cole pauses. The pause is worse than the words. A jade pendant on a red cord. Your daughter was wearing it. Maylin cannot speak. She nods. We haven't found it. Somewhere in the building, in this building her husband's family built, in this place she has lived for 12 years. In this home she thought was safe, her daughter was taken, pulled through a hole in the ceiling, carried through the dark arteries of the building, and whoever took her kept the pendant, kept something. Malin opens her mouth to scream, but the sound that comes out is something else. A keen, a wail, a noise she didn't know humans could make. David catches her as her legs give way. And in an apartment 8 floors above, Oliver Hargrove wakes from a doze on the neighbor's couch and begins searching. Wandering from room to room, calling in a sing-song voice. Lily, Lily, where are you? The neighbor, Mrs. Chen from 14C, does not know what to say. She holds out her arms. Oliver walks past them, still calling, his 7-year-old voice echoing down the hallway. Lily, come out now, it's not funny anymore. He will ask this question in different forms for the next 3 years. He will never get an answer. Where are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments. It's incredible how these stories connect us across the world. And if this case is hitting you the way it hit me, take a breath. The hardest parts are still ahead, but so is justice. The evidence arrives in pieces. 11:45 p.m. November 14th. Detective Cole sits in an interview room with 4 maintenance workers, their faces gray under fluorescent lights. Ray Mullins, superintendent, 12 years. Derek Solis, 6 years. Timothy Chen, no relation to Malin, 3 years. And James Earl Boykin, 8 months. 3 of them have alibis, 1 does not. Cole studies the keycard logs on his laptop. Boykin clocked out at 4:30 p.m. standard shift end, but his keycard accessed the mechanical room on the 6th floor at 4:38 p.m., 8 minutes after he supposedly left. Mr. Boykin, Cole's voice is soft. He twists his wedding ring. Once, twice, 3 times. You clocked out at 4:30, but your card shows you in the mechanical room at 4:38. Can you explain that? Boykin's face shows nothing. Flat blue eyes, unremarkable features, the kind of man you'd forget immediately. Must be a glitch. Where's your vehicle, Mr. Boykin? In the shop. Which shop? A pause too long. I'd have to check. At 6:00 a.m. they find the van. White 2003 Ford Econoline, Georgia plates. Parked in long-term parking at Charlotte Douglas International Airport. The location suggests flight, but airport records show no ticket purchased in Boykin's name. He went nowhere. He just wanted them to think he did. Inside that van, investigators found the evidence that would convict James Earl Boykin of kidnapping, but they didn't find what they were looking for. They didn't find Lily. The search of the van yields 1 coil of rope, 1 roll of duct tape, 1 white ankle sock with lace trim, size child's medium. And beneath the passenger seat, tangled in the carpet fibers, a thin red cord attached to a small jade Buddha worn smooth from decades of touching, its surface still holding the warmth of the last hand that held it. The cord is broken, snapped, as if torn from someone's neck. At 8:15 a.m., Malin Hargrove is brought to the police station. She hasn't slept in 31 hours. Her eyes are swollen. Her hands haven't stopped shaking since the night before. Detective Cole shows her a photograph. Is this your daughter's pendant? Malin looks at the image, the jade Buddha in an evidence bag, the broken red cord, her mother's pendant, her daughter's pendant, the inheritance that was supposed to pass through generations, not end in the passenger footwell of a predator's van. Her legs buckle, 2 officers catch her. She makes a sound, not a scream, not words. Something older than language, and then she's on the floor, and Cole is kneeling beside her, and somewhere a phone is ringing, and no one answers it. The background check that should have prevented everything emerges that afternoon. James Earl Boykin, born February 3, 1967, Augusta, Georgia. Prior conviction, indecent exposure, 1998. Required to register as a sex offender. Failed to update registration when moving to North Carolina in 2009. Investigated in 2003 for the disappearance of 11-year-old Keisha Montgomery. Questioned and released. Insufficient evidence. Keisha was never found. Piedmont Property Services, the management company contracted by Hargrove Properties, contracted by David Hargrove's company. By David Hargrove's signature on the paperwork, conducted a background check in March 2011. North Carolina records only, Georgia records not searched, sex offender registry not consulted. A predator walked into the building David's father built, worked there for 8 months, watched the children come and go, watched Lily, and David signed the contract that let him in. Cole finds David in the lobby at 3:00 a.m. November 16th. He hasn't left, can't leave, sits on the couch by the concierge desk staring at the elevator doors waiting for them to open and release his daughter like the whole thing has been some terrible mistake. "Mr. Hargrove, you need to rest." David doesn't look at him. "I signed the contract, Piedmont Property Services, I signed it. You couldn't have known. I should have known everyone who worked in this building. My father knew every name, every face. I should have." His voice breaks. She was 47 steps from home, 47 steps. On the sixth floor, Mimi Okonkwo emerges from her apartment with a thermos of coffee and a blanket. She says nothing, just sits beside David on the lobby couch, wraps the blanket around his shoulders and holds his hand. They sit like that until dawn. November 18th, 2:47 a.m. The phone rings, anonymous tip. A rest stop near Greensboro. Someone saw a girl matching Lily's description, dark hair, school uniform, jade necklace, traveling with a woman who seemed nervous. David and Maylin drive 90 miles in 53 minutes. They don't speak. The highway is empty, the darkness absolute, and somewhere ahead there might be an answer. There might be Lily, there might be the end of this nightmare. They arrive at 3:41 a.m. The girl at the rest stop is not Lily. Wrong child, wrong age, wrong everything. A family from Virginia traveling to Florida, confused by the police officers surrounding their minivan. Maylin makes it to the parking lot before she vomits. David holds her hair back. Neither of them cries. They are beyond tears. They are in a place where the body rejects hope the way it rejects poison, violently, completely, without choice. They drive home in silence. The sun rises over Charlotte, indifferent. Another day without Lily. December 25th, 6 weeks since Lily vanished. The Hargrove apartment looks almost normal. Someone, David, probably put up a tree. Lights blink in the window. Presents sit wrapped beneath the branches. There is one pile that no one will touch. Lily's gifts. Her name on the tags in Maylin's handwriting, written before. Oliver stands in the living room doorway, 7 years old, wearing pajamas with rockets on them. "Mom, when is Lily going to open her presents?" Maylin sits in the chair by the window. She has not moved in 6 hours. Her coffee went cold at noon. Her hand rests on her jade pendant, fingers moving in the old pattern, left, left, but slower now, mechanical, like a wind-up toy running down. She opens her mouth. Nothing comes out. Oliver waits. Then he pads over to the tree, sits cross-legged on the floor, and begins sorting presents into piles. His, Mom's, Dad's, Lily's. "I'll keep her safe," he says. "When she comes back." Maylin closes her eyes. At 2:00 a.m., David finds her in Lily's room. She is lying on Lily's bed, fully clothed, staring at the ceiling. In her hands, she holds a piece of white paper, half folded, the origami crane Lily was making for Oliver, left unfinished on her desk the morning she disappeared. Maylin has not completed it. She cannot bring herself to finish what Lily started. She cannot bring herself to throw it. Above her, glow-in-the-dark stars cover the ceiling. Lily arranged them in actual constellations, Orion, the Big Dipper, Cassiopeia, because that's who she was, a girl who made order from decoration, a girl who counted steps and pressed buttons with her knuckle and wore her grandmother's pendant every single day. Maylin is counting the stars. 17, 18, 19, numbers don't betray you, numbers don't disappear, numbers stay where you put them. 20, 21. 22, David lies down beside her. He doesn't speak. There is nothing to say. He just lies there in their daughter's bed, in their daughter's room, beneath their daughter's stars, and together they wait for morning. Morning comes, it always does, even when you wish it wouldn't. The trial came and went. The years stretched on, and the family that Lily left behind slowly came apart, not with a rupture, but with a settling. Like a house shifting on its foundation until nothing quite fits anymore. March 2012. James Earl Boykin stands trial for kidnapping. The evidence is overwhelming. Fingerprints, keycard logs, the pendant in his van. He offers no defense, reveals nothing. When the prosecutor asks where Lily is, Boykin says only, "I want a lawyer." Guilty, 25 years to life. David reads his victim impact statement with shaking hands. "You took my daughter. You took her from an elevator in a building my father built. I don't know if Lily is alive. I don't know where she is, and you won't tell us." Boykin stares straight ahead, shows nothing, says nothing, justice without answers, a conviction without closure. The years begin to blur. 2012. Maylin returns to the hospital, but only for research. She cannot treat children Lily's age, cannot look at 12-year-old girls without seeing her daughter's face. She takes the stairs now, always the stairs, even to the 14th floor. Elevators are impossible. The chime alone makes her hands shake. 2013, David moves out, not divorced, never divorced, but separated. He cannot sleep in the building where Lily vanished. Cannot walk through the lobby without seeing her. Cannot ride the elevator without counting floors and holding his breath. He takes a condo downtown, 15 minutes away, close enough to visit Oliver. Far enough to breathe, but every Saturday morning he drives to Amélie's French bakery. Sits at the same table, orders 2 almond croissants, one for him, one for Lily. He eats his. Her sits untouched, powdered sugar undisturbed until the waitress clears it away. He has done this for 2 years. He will do it for 5 more. 2014, Oliver, now 10, begins having nightmares. He draws pictures at school, elevators with jagged teeth, dark shafts like throats, small figures falling. His teacher calls Malin, concerned. Therapy begins. The therapist says he's processing. Malin doesn't know what that means. She's been processing for 3 years and hasn't found the bottom yet. Oliver still reaches for Lily's hand in crowds. His fingers close on empty air, and he doesn't notice, doesn't remember she's not there, just keeps reaching for a sister who will never reach back. 2015, Mimi Okonkwo dies in her sleep. Apartment 6B, 78 years old. She stopped singing after Lily disappeared. The neighbors noticed the hymns that used to drift through the walls, her voice strong and beautiful, suddenly silent. She kept Lily's school photo on her refrigerator until the end. Touched it every morning, smoothed the paper the way she used to smooth Lily's hair. Her will leaves her violin to Oliver for when he's ready to learn. He isn't ready, not yet. 2016, Grace Yamamoto, now 17, starts a podcast from her bedroom, Finding Lily. She records 3 episodes, Lily's story, the investigation, a plea for information. Her voice shakes through all of them, 50,000 downloads, comments from around the world, people who never met Lily, who never knew she existed, suddenly caring that she's gone. Grace's parents make her stop. Too public, too painful. Too much attention from strangers who don't understand. But those 3 episodes keep circulating, keep Lily's name alive, keep people looking. Grace still texts Lily's old number every night at 10:17 p.m. The number was never reassigned. The messages go nowhere. She sends them anyway. 10:17 every night for 6 years and counting, 6 years since Lily vanished. David's third private investigator has produced 847 pages of reports and 0 answers. The case is cold. The leads are exhausted. Detective Cole, retired now, living in a quiet house with his wife Alina, still keeps notebook #147 on his desk. Still reviews it every Friday afternoon. Still drives past the school sometimes at 3:30 p.m., watching children climb into cars and vans and wondering if he missed something. Then Marcus Webb gets released from Central Prison. Webb spent 5 years as Boykin's cellmate. 5 years of silence, of Boykin's flat eyes and empty face, of nothing, except. Webb tells the investigator, David's investigator, the one who tracked him down 3 weeks after release, that Boykin talked in his sleep, not often, not clearly. But sometimes in the deepest hours of the night, words would drift from the upper bunk. Lake Wiley, Old Barnhart Place, East Side. Over and over, a location Boykin never mentioned while awake. The investigator brings this to Cole. Cole is 6 months into retirement. He comes back without being asked. Lake Wiley, the Old Barnhart Place. A property that belonged to Boykin's grandmother, sold in 1995, never developed. 40 miles from Charlotte, 40 miles from home. The search begins. Make sure you've hit that notification bell, because what investigators found at Lake Wiley, after 7 years of silence, finally gave this family the answer they needed, the answer they dreaded, and the answer that changed everything. August 19, 2018. The Lake Wiley property hasn't been touched in 23 years. Boykin's grandmother sold it in 1995, a farmhouse on the east side of the lake, 3 acres of overgrown land, a collapsed well house behind the main structure. The new owners never developed it, never visited. Let it return to the woods, to the kudzu, to the slow patience of nature reclaiming what humans abandoned. Detective Cole stands at the edge of the property line, notebook #147 in his hand. He's been retired for 18 months. His hair is grayer now, his reading glasses thicker, his joints stiff from mornings spent in a garden instead of crime scenes. But when the tip came in Lake Wiley, Old Barnhart Place, East Side, he didn't hesitate. Some cases you carry with you. Some cases you can't put down even when you're supposed to. Lily Chen Hargrove has been gone for 6 years, 9 months, and 5 days. Cole has counted everyone. The search team fans out across the property. Metal detectors, ground-penetrating radar, and the dogs, 3 cadaver dogs trained to find what no one wants to find. Cole watches them work the perimeter, their handlers holding leads loose, letting the animals follow instinct. At 2:34 p.m., a German shepherd named Bella stops near the collapsed well house. She sits, she doesn't move. Her handler, Sarah Akanjo, approaches slowly. The dog's posture is unmistakable, not a maybe, not a false positive certainty. The kind of certainty that comes from years of training and an olfactory system humans can't comprehend. Detective Cole. Akanjo's voice is steady, professional, but her eyes say what her words don't. We have an alert. Cole walks toward the well house. The August sun blazes overhead, heat shimmering off the red clay, cicadas screaming in the trees. Beautiful day, cruel day, the kind of day that should hold nothing but summer, swimming holes and barbecues and children playing. Not this, not what he knows is coming. He stops at the edge of the collapsed structure, looks down at the dog, still sitting, still waiting. Mark it, he says, get the excavation team. August 21st, 2018, 2 days of careful digging. The excavation team works in quadrants, removing soil inch by inch, sifting through clay and rock and root systems that have grown undisturbed for years. They find nothing the first day, nothing the first half of the second day. Cole begins to wonder if the tip was wrong, if the sleep talking was just that meaningless sounds from an unconscious mind. Then, at 3:17 p.m., the trowel scrapes something that isn't earth. The technician stops, brushes away soil with gloved fingers, calls for the medical examiner, Dr. Miriam Vance, no relation to Patricia Vance from 4C, just one of those coincidences that mean nothing, descends into the pit. She works in silence for 11 minutes, then she climbs out, removes her gloves, and approaches Cole. Human remains, she says, female, skeletal, consistent with a child approximately 10 to 14 years of age. She pauses. There's evidence of blunt force trauma to the skull. Cole closes his eyes. Blunt force trauma. He thinks of Lily pressing elevator buttons with her knuckle, Lily counting her steps, Lily wearing her grandmother's jade pendant every single day. Lily, who was 47 steps from home when a man pulled her through a ceiling and carried her to this place, this hole in the ground, this unmarked grave 40 miles from everyone who loved her. Dental records, he says. How fast can we confirm? I'll request expedited analysis, 48 hours. Cole nods, opens his notebook, writes the date, writes the time, writes found her. The dental records would confirm what Cole already knew. The jade pendant was never recovered from this site. Boykin must have kept it for those first hours, that trophy from the van, before discarding it when he realized police were closing in. But they found something else. Something that made identification certain. Something that made it real. Among the remains, caught in the soil where her chest would have been, forensic technicians recover a small object, a corroded zipper pull in the shape of a robot. The keychain from Lily's purple backpack. She must have been holding it, clutching it when she died. A robot, a prize from an arcade, a small thing she carried because it made her smile. Maylin will identify it immediately when they show her the photograph. August 22, 2018. Detective Cole's office. Cole has made this drive 300 times in his career. Delivered news no parent should hear. Watched hope die in real time across kitchen tables and living room couches and hospital waiting rooms. It never gets easier. It shouldn't get easier, but this one is different. This one he's carried for 7 years. Maylin and David sit across from him, side by side but not touching. They came separately, Maylin from the hospital, David from his downtown condo, but they arrived at the same moment, as if some invisible thread still connects them despite everything. They haven't lived together in 5 years. They've never stopped being Lily's parents. Cole looks at them. At Maylin's hand already rising toward her jade pendant. At David's knee bouncing, that old nervous habit, the one Lily used to tease him about. At their faces holding hope and dread in equal measure, the way they've held it for 474 days. He doesn't make them wait. We found her. 3 words, the room goes still. I'm so sorry, we found her. Maylin's eyes close. Her fingers find the pendant at her throat, slide it along the cord, left, right, left. The same motion Lily made 1,000 times. The same motion she made in the elevator in the final moments before everything changed. Where? Maylin's voice is barely a whisper. Lake Wiley. A property that belonged to Boykin's grandmother. She's been there since. Cole stops, swallows. She's been there the whole time. David makes a sound, not a word, not a sob, something between them. His hands grip the armrest of his chair so hard his knuckles go white. He stares at Cole, through Cole, past Cole into some place where this isn't happening, where his daughter is still alive, where the last 7 years have been a nightmare he's about to wake from. But he doesn't wake. This is real, this is the answer. Maylin opens her eyes, tears stream down her face, but her voice is steady when she speaks. Thank you for not giving up. Cole can't respond. 22 years in crimes against children, 341 cases, and this woman who has every right to rage, to scream, to curse him for taking 7 years to find her daughter, this woman is thanking him. He bows his head, blinks hard, finds his voice. I'll give you whatever time you need. David walks out of the police station without speaking. He doesn't go home, doesn't call Oliver, doesn't call anyone. He gets in his car and drives, autopilot taking over, muscle memory guiding him through Charlotte streets until he pulls into a parking space on East Boulevard, Ameli's French Bakery. He's been here every Saturday for 7 years. Same table, the one by the window, where Lily used to sit across from him, where she ordered the same thing every week. Same order, 2 almond croissants, one for him, one for her. Same ritual, he eats his, leaves hers untouched, watches the powdered sugar settle while the waitress pretends not to notice. It's Wednesday, not Saturday. The routine is broken, everything is broken, but he goes in anyway. The waitress, Maria, she's been here almost as long as he has, looks up when he enters. Sees something in his face, doesn't ask. The usual Mr. Hargrove. He nods, can't speak. She brings him 2 almond croissants, sets them down, one in front of him, one across the table where Lily used to sit. David stares at them, 2 pastries, golden brown, flaky, dusted with powdered sugar. Exactly like the hundreds of others he's ordered over 7 years. Exactly like the one Lily used to eat, breaking off small pieces, licking sugar from her fingers. Telling him about robotics club in school and her plans for MIT. He picks up Lily's croissant, his hands shake. Powdered sugar drifts onto the table like snow, like the first snow after Lily disappeared when Oliver made a snowman and left space beside it, like all the winters she wasn't there to see. He takes a bite. The taste is the same, almond and butter and sweetness. The taste of Saturday mornings with his daughter, the taste of before. But the meaning is different now. He's not waiting anymore. He's not keeping her place warm at the table, holding space for a girl who might walk through the door. He's finishing what they started, completing the ritual, letting her go. David Hargrove sits in Ameli's French Bakery on a Wednesday afternoon in August, eating his daughter's almond croissant, and he weeps. Not quiet tears, great heaving sobs that shake his whole body, that draw stares from other customers. That he doesn't try to stop. Maria brings him napkins, stands beside his table with her hand on his shoulder, says nothing, there's nothing to say. When David can breathe again, he looks across the table at the empty chair, the crumbs where the croissant used to be, the space where Lily should have been and never will be again. I finished our breakfast, Lilybug, he whispers. I finally finished it. 3 days later, Oliver Hargrove asks to see where they found her. He is 14 years old. He has spent half his life without his sister. He has drawn elevators with monster teeth, reached for a hand that wasn't there, kept pieces of a paper crane under his pillow until they disintegrated. He has said Lily would know 1,000 times and never gotten an answer. His parents say no, too painful, inappropriate, he's too young. Oliver goes anyway. He takes a bus to the edge of Lake Wiley, walks 3 miles down rural roads, past farmhouses and fishing docks until he finds the yellow tape. The excavation site is cordoned off, active crime scene, no trespassing, but he doesn't try to cross the barrier. He just stands there at the perimeter looking at the hole in the ground where his sister spent 7 years. In his hands he holds a small box. Inside the box are the pieces of an origami crane, white printer paper, half-folded, wings that were never finished. Lily was making it for him the morning she disappeared. He's kept it all this time under his pillow, then in a drawer, then in this box that traveled with him through nightmares and therapy and a childhood defined by absence. He opens the box, takes out the pieces, finds the flattest stone he can reach without crossing the tape, places the crane fragments on the stone, arranged as close to their original shape as he can manage. The wind picks up. Lake Wylie wind, August wind. The kind that should scatter paper like leaves, but the crane doesn't move, the stone holds it. The weight keeps it grounded. The wind passes over and around and through and still it stays. Oliver stands there for a long time watching. Then he says quietly to no one and everyone, "I'm going to be an engineer, Lily, like you wanted to be. I'm going to build things that help people. Prosthetic arms for kids, robot hands, the stuff you used to dream about." He swallows. "I'm not as smart as you were, but I'll work harder. I'll work for both of us." He doesn't cry, he's past crying. He's in a place beyond tears where grief has transformed into something else, purpose, maybe, direction, a reason to keep moving forward. He turns and walks back down the road. Behind him, the crane stays where he left it, delivered finally after 7 years. February 4th, 2019, the courtroom in Rock Hill, South Carolina is smaller than Malin expected. Wood paneling, fluorescent lights, the American flag hanging limp in the corner. She sits in the second row left side aisle seat, the same position she held during the first trial 7 years ago. David sits beside her, not touching but close enough. James Earl Boykin enters through a side door flanked by deputies. He wears an orange jumpsuit, his hair has thinned, his face has aged. But his eyes are the same flat, pale blue showing nothing. He doesn't look at the gallery, doesn't acknowledge the family of the girl he killed, just sits at the defense table and stares straight ahead as if the proceeding is happening to someone else. This is the second trial, the murder trial. Kidnapping was 7 years ago, 25 to life served at Central Prison, but kidnapping wasn't enough, not after they found her. Not after the medical examiner documented blunt force trauma to a 12-year-old's skull. Now it's murder. The prosecution presents its case over 9 days, evidence from the excavation site, forensic analysis of the remains, the robot keychain found clutched in her skeletal hand, the timeline that connects Boykin's movements on November 14, 2011 to the property on Lake Wylie where Lily spent 7 years in the ground. Boykin's defense attorney argues insufficiency of evidence, questions the chain of custody, suggests the remains could belong to someone else, Keisha Montgomery, perhaps the girl from 2003 who was never found. The DNA results shut that down. The dental records shut that down. The robot keychain, identified by Malin in 3 seconds flat, shuts that down. On February 12th, the prosecution calls its final witness. Oliver Hargrove walks to the witness stand. He is 14 years old, tall for his age now. He got David's height, though he moves like Malin, careful and precise. He wears a suit that doesn't quite fit, borrowed from his father, the sleeves slightly too long. His hands shake as he's sworn in, but his voice is steady. The prosecutor asks him to describe his sister. Oliver looks at Boykin for the first time, holds his gaze, doesn't flinch. "Lily was the smartest person I ever knew," he says. "She wanted to go to MIT and build prosthetic limbs for kids. She made origami animals for me when I was sad. She taught me to tie my shoes with a song she invented. She let me win at Mario Kart even though I didn't know she was letting me." He pauses. "I was 7 when she disappeared. I'm 14 now. I've spent half my life without her." The prosecutor asks about the impact on his family. Oliver's voice tightens but doesn't break. "My parents separated. My mom can't ride elevators anymore. My dad ate breakfast alone at the same restaurant every Saturday for 7 years, ordering my sister's food and not touching it." He looks at Boykin again. "You did that, you took her and you killed her, and then you made us wait 7 years to find out. You could have told us where she was, you could have let us bury her, but you didn't. You just sat there and said nothing." The defense attorney declines to cross-examine. Oliver starts to step down, then he stops, turns back toward the defendant's table. "She mattered," he says, his voice fills the courtroom. "Lily mattered more than you ever will." Boykin doesn't react, doesn't blink, just stares straight ahead with those flat blue eyes as if Oliver hasn't spoken, as if none of this is real. But it is real, and the jury has heard every word. February 15th, 2019, 2:47 p.m. The jury has deliberated for 6 hours. Mei-Lin sits in her usual seat. Her hand rests on the jade pendant at her throat, her pendant now not Lily's. Lily's pendant is in a locked box in Mei-Lin's bedroom, too precious to wear, too painful to look at, too important to discard. The jury files in. The foreman stands. On the charge of murder in the first degree, how do you find? We find the defendant guilty. The courtroom doesn't erupt. There's no cheering, no gasps, just a long exhalation like a held breath finally released, like 7 years of waiting finally reaching its end. Mei-Lin closes her eyes. David bows his head. Oliver, sitting between them, reaches for both their hands. For the first time in years, they hold on to each other. April 2019. Sentencing. The judge looks at James Earl Boykin and says the words, "Life imprisonment without the possibility of parole." Boykin's only statement when asked if he has anything to say, "I have nothing to say." No apology, no explanation, no acknowledgement of what he did. He is transferred to Kirkland Correctional Institution in Columbia, South Carolina. He will die there. He will never explain why he chose Lily. He will never reveal whether there were others. He will carry his secrets into whatever comes after, and the families he destroyed will never have complete answers. This is what justice looks like, not restoration but accountability, not healing but consequence, not closure but the knowledge that he cannot hurt anyone else. It's something, it's not enough, it's all they'll ever get. 2024, 5 years after the verdict, 13 years after Lily disappeared. Lily Chen Hargrove is 54 years old. She lives in the same apartment at Hargrove Tower, 14A, where she raised her children, where Lily's room has become a home office that still holds her daughter's things on the shelves. She takes the stairs every day, 14 floors. Her colleagues at the hospital joke that she's in better shape than the residents. She doesn't explain why she can't take the elevator. She doesn't have to. She treats children now. Went back to patient care in 2019 after the trial. Pediatric oncology, the hardest specialty, the one where you lose patience, where you hold parents' hands and say words no one wants to hear. She does it anyway. She does it because every child deserves someone fighting for them, because she couldn't save Lily, but she can save others. The jade pendant in the locked box stays locked. The matching pendant at her throat she wears every day. Some days she touches it and feels Lily's fingers alongside her own. Some days she touches it and feels only cold stone. Both are true, both are grief. David Hargrove is 57. He lives in his uptown condo but spends more time with Oliver now. Dinners, phone calls, the relationship they almost lost rebuilt one conversation at a time. He returned to active management of Hargrove Properties in 2019. The company recovered. The company grew. He implemented something called Lily's Standard, comprehensive background checks for every contractor, every employee, everyone who enters a Hargrove building. Every Saturday he still goes to Ameli's, but now he orders 2 croissants and eats one. The other he leaves on Lily's side of the table, not untouched anymore, not preserved like a shrine, just there. A place setting for a girl who isn't coming but who still has a seat at the table. The ritual changed. The meaning changed, but the love remains. Oliver Hargrove is 20. He is a junior at Georgia Tech, mechanical engineering major with a minor in biomedical engineering. Dean's List, 3.8 GPA. He interns at a prosthetics startup in the summers, designing robot hands for children, the work Lily dreamed about, the future she never got to build. He carries a photo of his sister in his wallet. Shows it to people when they ask about siblings. "I had a sister," he says. "Her name was Lily. She would have been 25. He still texts her old number sometimes, just to check in. The number was finally disconnected in 2022, but he texts anyway. The messages go nowhere. He sends them anyway. Some rituals don't need a destination. They just need to exist. Grace Yamamoto is 25. MIT graduate, computer science, 2022. She works at a nonprofit now, developing technology for missing persons cases. Facial recognition algorithms, database integration, tools that help families find answers faster than Lily's family did. She revived Finding Lily in 2020 with the Hargrove's blessing. The podcast covers other missing children now, 127 episodes, 3 million downloads, tips generated in 3 other cases. Every dollar of revenue goes to the foundation. Every night at 10:17 p.m. she touches her phone. The ritual persists even though there's no one receiving. The gesture is enough. The remembering is enough. Lily's law passed in North Carolina in 2014, expanded in 2019. It requires multi-state background checks for anyone working in residential buildings, anyone with access to children. 16 other states have adopted similar legislation. Malin testified at committee hearings in 5 of them. The Lily Chen Hargrove Foundation, founded by David and Malin together in 2019, has raised over $2 million. The First 48 Fund provides emergency support to families of missing children. The annual scholarship sends Charlotte area students to study engineering. The small crane in the foundation's logo was Oliver's design. Detective Marcus Cole retired for good in 2019. He wrote a book, Every Child, with Lily's case as its centerpiece. Royalties go to the foundation. He speaks at law enforcement conferences about cold case persistence. He mentors young detectives in crimes against children units. He still drives past Charlotte Country Day sometimes. Still watches children climb into cars at 3:30 p.m. Still wonders if there's someone else he should be looking for. Some cases you carry forever. Some cases become part of who you are. In the lobby of Hargrove Tower, there is a small memorial. A framed photograph of Lily Chen Hargrove at 12 years old. Low ponytail, navy cardigan, jade pendant visible at her throat. She's smiling, not the posed smile of school portraits, but a real one caught mid-laugh, alive in the way only the living can be. Fresh flowers sit beside the frame, changed weekly. Different volunteers. Rotating through years, building residents, former searchers, strangers who read about her and felt moved to contribute something. The plaque beneath the photograph is simple: Lily Chen Hargrove, March 8, 1999, November 14, 2011, 47 steps from home. Forever in our hearts. People walk past it every day. Some pause, some don't notice. Some touch the frame the way Lily used to touch her pendant. A small gesture of connection, of remembrance, of love persisting beyond death. Lily Chen Hargrove was 12 years old when she stepped into an elevator and never stepped out. She counted her steps and pressed buttons with her knuckle and dreamed of building robot arms for children who needed them. She kept a journal of beautiful sentences. She made origami cranes for her little brother. She wore her grandmother's jade pendant every single day. She was 47 steps from home when a man pulled her through a ceiling hatch and carried her into darkness. She was 40 miles from home when they finally found her 7 years later in a grave no one knew existed. She would be 25 now if things had gone differently. MIT graduate probably. Engineer almost certainly. Changing the world definitely. But things didn't go differently. And she was 12, and the world has continued turning without her for 13 years. This is what remains, a family that fractured and reformed around absence. A brother building the future she imagined. A mother climbing 14 flights of stairs every day because elevators are impossible now. A father eating breakfast alone at the same table, leaving space for a girl who isn't coming. This is what remains, a law with her name on it. A foundation doing the work she would have done. A podcast keeping her story alive. A detective who never stopped looking. A best friend who still texts at 10:17 p.m. into the void because some rituals are more important than logic. This is what remains, love persisting, grief transformed, memory carried forward. Lily Chen Hargrove was here, she mattered, she still matters, and her story, like all stories of lives taken too soon, is both ended and still unfolding in everyone she left behind. Lily Chen Hargrove's story reminds us that every missing child has a family waiting, hoping, refusing to give up. If this case moved you, please share it. Every share keeps Lily's memory alive and helps other families still searching for answers. What case should we cover next? Drop it in the comments. And if you haven't already, subscribe. We tell the stories of people who mattered, people who still matter.